Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 85, the first virtual episode of the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. We are on Riverside, Hunter Keister, back with
Mac, finally reporting live through the interwebs. 85. Let's go.
100%. Let's get it. We're back after we've done some Shekel Up work, so check that out as we will be seeing that get posted on all of our sites and Shekel Up sites. So a lot of collab work going on with us and them as the football season fastly approaches. This episode, though, first one we are doing live, and we're just going to kind of recap some sports for you guys as we get ready. Week 0 of the college football season starts tomorrow. Notre Dame and Navy kick it off at Notre Dame and Navy 2:30 kick it off tomorrow.
2:30.
So we'll just start with that. Kurt, week 0, what is your expectations? Obviously, we just kind of want to get into some deeper conversations, and we'll start at the college football level. So let's start with the Notre Dame and Navy game.
For sure. Definitely expecting some rust. Definitely some rust for a lot of teams. Just a lot of running the ball. And kind of vanilla. But I know Navy runs that triple option wild offense, so that's always fun to watch.
Absolutely. I think we're going to get to see Notre Dame before they take on Ohio State, which could be a big game in the coming weeks. So that's interesting that we get to see them. And the game is from Dublin, Ireland, so that's also absolutely.
Oh, wow, overseas.
Yeah, wild.
Wow. Didn't know that. I know they could have college games overseas like that.
For sure. What are you looking forward to most as the football season, both college and pro, get underway? What are you looking forward to most from both your teams?
Oh, defense and victories.
Okay. I
like
like
victories.
So it looks like we got Notre Dame Navy at 2:30, USC San Jose State at 8 o'clock, and that's Saturday, August 26th, tomorrow. Then Thursday, August 31st, we have Florida and Utah at 8 o'clock on Thursday. So that's a really good game. Yeah, that's a really good game before the season actually kicks off Saturday, September 2nd.
It's like a pre-hype to next weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you, all right, well, throw something out. What do you want to get into?
It's college, so let's dive right into Big Blue.
All right, well, talking about that, I guess, where should we start? Should we start with Harbaugh's bogus 3-game suspension that he's gotten for the year?
Yes.
What do you think about it? I mean, you got my idea with bogus, and, I mean, at least it's only non-conference games, so we really won't miss them, and you and I kind of talked about it on Twitter a little bit, how I mentioned that I thought that it was good for the coaches in the ranks that want to be head coaches to get this experience running the show. And, I think it'll be good for those guys.
Yeah, it's definitely, honestly, more on the fence of let's just get it out of the way and get it now. Get the suspension out now because a lot of questions for next year. And so with bigger opponents, tougher schedule next year, let's just get out of the way now because the first 3 games for the schedule are a wash. And I thought it was interesting how it's 3 different coaches that are going to be running each game. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the second game, they're having 2 different coaches for each half. I thought it was just going to be Sharon Moore running the show the whole first 3 games.
100%. I was absolutely shocked when they decided they were going to do this. I saw that Mike Hart was getting a game. Sharon Moore was going to obviously get a game. And then I believe it was like Herbert, the strength and conditioning coach, and somebody else.
Shaq.
Something like that.
His dad. What?
Right. Right. Okay. Let's see. So what? Let's see some bold predictions. Let's hear some bold predictions. Kurt, I want 5 bold predictions in the college football world in general. They can be Michigan. They can be just college football. But I want 5 bold takes.
5 bold takes. Oh, here's a bold take. The Heisman this year isn't going to be a quarterback that wins it. Bold take number 2. What if I tell you only one SEC team makes it into the playoffs? Bold take number 3, and this isn't even bold to me. Ohio State ain't getting the playoffs. Bold take 4.
Oh.
Ooh, bold take 4. I got 3. I can't get 4 or 5. We're sticking with 3. I like 3.
Okay.
I'll give you 3 bold takes.
Well, let's get into some of them then, because I thought it was interesting. I'll give you mine after we dissect yours a little bit, but I can't believe in a world that we're in now offensively. I mean, there's great running backs, but in the world of Caleb Williams and the J.J. McCarthy's and the air raid offenses, I can't believe you don't think a quarterback wins the Heisman. Because between J.J. and Caleb, if they're as good as advertised, who do you think wins it then? A running back of some sort?
Yeah, and we know exactly who it is.
Maybe we'll get into some Heisman predictions, but who do you think Kurt's talking about, guys? Who do you give us your guesses, unless you know. Let us know. Let us know who you think Kurt's talking about there. But okay, I like that. Ohio State not making the playoff has to be a big one. I mean, that's a real in itself with what you just said. Ohio State not making the playoffs. I need you gotta elaborate some more on that. They've been utterly successful, the past, besides the couple blunder losses to us in the recent memory. And then obviously before that, just complete dominance for the last, decade. So I think that I need to hear some reasoning on why you don't think they make the playoff.
All right, here's why. Here's why Ohio State's not getting in. Because we're going to get in. We're winning the Big Ten. And so for them to get in, they're only going to need 1 loss. And honestly, I think they probably lose 2, maybe 3 games. And with that many losses, they're not going to get in with 4 teams. So I don't see it. Quarterback questions, uncertainty, and all them receivers don't matter if you don't got no one to get you the ball. So, and you got to come up to Ann Arbor, A2, and do your thing. If you're going to be going that far, that ain't happening. So, no playoffs for them. They'll be right outside of the top 4. I like 6 or 5. For sure, though.
For sure. What was that third take you had?
Oh, I went super bold. I said only one SEC team makes it into the playoffs.
So let's elaborate even more. Who is it? Who is your SEC team to make it? Is it Georgia? Is it Bama? Is it a sleeper?
Georgia. Just Georgia.
Okay. You still think Georgia? They got some turnover on that defense that they're gonna have to replace, and I know they've been able to replace it, but how many times can they do it in a row effectively? I mean, Alabama did it for 10, 15 years. Can Georgia keep the same pace? And then you got to also factor in their running back just tore their Achilles. So now they're down their starting running back.
I mean, yeah, that too, but again, look at their schedule.
Yeah, the cupcake walk that is their schedule. I mean, I can't say much because Michigan has finally adapted to the times and went with the cupcake schedule themselves, but it's still atrocious, and the SEC had been doing it way longer than the Michigan or the Big Ten or any of those schools adapted the art of just scheduling nobodies all year.
It would be very hard imagining and seeing Georgia not in the top 4 this year. Like, even at worst, even like at their floor, I still feel like they'd get it in at 4 if they do have a not so great season like it's been the past 2 years. I think you'll still get in.
For sure. I like that.
Say they do take a step back. I still just feel like they'll get into 4, at worst 3.
100%. 100%. That's true. I mean, I can't believe how much Alabama's being knocked off and discredited after all their success.
Hey man, things change. The times change.
I just don't know if they've really changed as much as everybody's trying to say that they have. I guess only time can tell with that, but I guess I'll give you a couple of my I'll give you a couple of my takes. I think that I think Texas could have a top 4 type of playoff year this year. I think that the Big 12 is very soft, and it's their last year in it until they move to the SEC, and everything changes after that. But for this year, they got a really good team, and especially for that really bad, soft Big 12, I think they could really make some noise this season.
See a lot of potential.
100%. I see potential in Texas already that people might not see, or they might be saying, "Oh, it's going to take them a year or two." I could potentially see it happening this year. My next bold take. I think that there's been a lot of talk about who wins the other side of the Big Ten. My bold take is that Wisconsin and Luke Fickell in year one. I haven't heard enough talk about Luke Fickell and Wisconsin in year one on that side of the conference. I think they finished top 2 in that conference to go to the Big Ten championship game. That's like a different little hot take number 2. I think Wisconsin finishes top 2 and contends for the Big Ten title game at the end of the year in year number 1 with Fickell. And then for a third, I think J.J. McCarthy finishes with a better season than Caleb Williams, at least. There's been a lot of talk about Heisman and all this really good, crazy expectations, but pound for pound, especially just this year, just simple hot take number 3. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know what the media is saying, but for me right now, hot take number 3, J.J. McCarthy over Caleb Williams. Just in regular performance and season stats by season's end. That's my third take.
Wow. So you like Wisconsin more than like Illinois for that second or third spot?
Absolutely. I think Illinois, they had a really good quarterback last year, DeVito, that had been playing there for a long time. He finally got drafted. Their 2 good defensive backs both get drafted. And especially for a team like Illinois, when you get guys like that are really, really good like that, I just don't think they come around like a revolving door and get replaced. I think that they take a step off, if not a significant drop down.
Wow. So you don't even think they're going to contend for that West? As it pertains to your third take with JJ, so you say he's going to have a better year. You mean with the win-losses or like the actual passing numbers?
I'm talking just passing numbers and looking better as an overall quarterback. I'll take J.J. McCarthy over Caleb Williams.
I think as far as the eye test goes and actual ability and like play at the quarterback position, JJ will probably, be right there. We're going to see what he does this year, but I don't know if they're going to really, run the offense through JJ like we want them to, because Caleb Williams is going to have 40 attempts a game. That's just how their offense is going to be ran. We don't know. Is Jim going to let JJ actually sling it, or are we just going to run the ball, control the clock, kind of like last year? I don't know.
Right. Per my sources, just reading around and reading some articles, and I will say that Michigan's passing attack will be better. I think that it significantly jumps up. Everybody knows Ann Arbor can run the ball now, especially we've had 4 or 5 really successful running backs just back to back to back. Offensive line, back-to-back Offensive Line of the Year awards. You know you're going to run the ball. Another crazy stat that I've heard, J.J. McCarthy in camp has looked incredible and hasn't thrown many interceptions. Only reported interception he's thrown all of camp is a tip pass interception.
I'm not really surprised. A quarterback, once they get that first year under their wing, they they feel so more up to speed with everything. They're able to read the field and just take their game up another level. So, like I said, I'm definitely expecting a jump in his style of play and his ability to hit the deep shots a little bit more, because that was really the only knock on his game as it pertained to last year. But are we going to let him throw it? I mean, because if we're getting 6-7 yards a pop, like how we usually do, we run the ball. It's like, we could just keep running it. But if given the chance, I definitely think he could surpass Williams. But hey, we'll see.
We'll see. That's why their early season predictions both take. But
yeah, we have a week.
Yeah. So let's do this. Who is your Big Ten championship game right now, Kurt? Let's give our predictions to the Big Ten championship game as we kind of stay around the college football.
I mean, that's easy for me. Well, though I am concerned about this team because of an injury, but it's definitely going to be Michigan, Iowa. I mean, Iowa's defense last year was pretty legit. They literally just couldn't score on offense because Petrus was just, oh my God. And Ferentz, their coach, man, he runs a prehistoric offense. But unfortunately, Cade suffered that injury during one of their training camps. I haven't really looked into that a whole lot since then, but if he's hurt, the season hasn't even started.
100%. That kind of really puts you behind the 8 ball before the season even gets going, for sure. Kurt says Michigan, Iowa. I would probably lean that way too. Like I said, though, I think Wisconsin really pushes Iowa, and I think that's a really close race going into the end of the year to determine who comes over and plays.
Oh, no, it will be. It'll be a game within each other. That's like how it was last year. Last year it was literally down to the final games corresponding to the big dub in Columbus, if you remember.
100%.
Like, it'll probably be the same scenario. Like, we probably won't know literally until the last Saturday. Like, the games after the win, we're going to go see. So.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Well, did you want to touch on or highlight anything else in college football, or should we just kind of jump around and keep it moving?
So your 3 big games to watch this week, obviously tomorrow, Notre Dame, Navy, Utah, Florida next Thursday, and then USC versus, what did you say, Saturday? Who are they playing?
San Jose State. They play them week 0, actually. San Jose State, USC play at 8 o'clock on week 0. So, same day as Notre Dame. Yeah, same day as Notre Dame, maybe. Yep.
So those are the 3 big matchups. Circle. But no, I mean, we just wanted to touch, preview the games week 0, and then probably just like we just did, just dive right into some predictions. I mean, because this is it. I mean, we got a week.
100%. We got a week till it starts, so let's get it going.
Before we finish this, I think it's pretty obvious, but we need to let the intentions known. What's the expectation this year, and what's considered a failure?
For the Michigan Wolverines, for the first time, I can confidently say, especially as a more educated, well-rounded football sports fan, I think this is the first true championship or bust season we've seen from the University of Michigan in 2 decades, maybe, of football.
Easily.
And to me, the expectations is playoff. And to me, I think you got to at least make the national championship. If you lose again and you get bested by an SEC team, I'm not going to be happy. But if we lose another first-round playoff game to a team that we shouldn't lose to, I know circumstances, whatever. Oh, man. So, to me, it's Big Ten championship or bust. Further than that, it's got to be national championship. at least making the game, or this season is considered a failure. Especially with me confidently saying this is Harbaugh's best Michigan team he's had since he's been there.
Yeah, honestly, we're on the same page. We got to make the national championship. If we lose it, that's one thing, but we cannot go one and done. Can't do it. Can't do it because they're all going to leave after this year. So this is it. Literally. You're not going to find a better opportunity with the other big dogs surrounded with questions. We don't have any questions, really. There's not really a weak spot.
Right.
We're solid everywhere. Injuries aside, this is it. Got our backs. The line's there. Brought in some transfers. Secondary's looking nice. Will Johnson year 2. Sanders still in the slot. The second year as a DB, and young studs on the D.
Look out for Jaden McBurrows. He was real good in camp. McBurrows was real good in camp before he got injured last year. He was supposed to get significant playing time at cornerback last year. So they brought in a transfer that could see a lot of time, but look out for
sure.
McBurrows and then Amarion Walker, another up-and-coming new guy at DB who I think could see some significant playing time. He switched over to DB from receiver to try to get playing time.
I would expect there to be a lot of different bodies out there these first couple of weeks, especially at defensive back. They get different looks and see who looks better, snap versus snap, rep versus rep. So I would definitely keep an eye on that cornerback battle.
Yeah, while I was golfing today, one of the things that I mentioned was, like I said earlier, with Michigan knowing they can run the ball already at will, I don't want to see Corum and Edwards with 20 carries apiece. Throw the ball. Get these receivers some rhythm. Get JJ's arm going early. We got time if he makes a mistake. We can lock up these teams if he throws a bad ball and it gets picked off or something. Worst case scenario happens. We got time to work through these kinks right now, but why just run the ball and beat these teams up on the ground? We know we can do that. What we don't know what we can do is throw the ball, reliable receivers that can catch and will catch when needed. Those are questions right now. And what isn't a question is if Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards can run over or run by people.
No, but I definitely would expect we're going to be using the run to set up the pass, because that's what we always do.
We'll see if anything changes going into week 1. But, all right, I think we will jump over to NFL. And this was week 3 of the preseason, right?
Correct.
Okay, so with that, I'll let Kurt start it off. We're going to get into some fantasy football a little bit later on. So if you guys got draft coming up, stick around for that because we got that coming. But just a little bit, Kurt, you said you watched about the first half of the latest Pittsburgh Steelers Atlanta Falcons preseason game. So why don't you talk about some positives and maybe some negatives that you might have saw from that game?
Positives I saw from yesterday. Well, the running offense looks to be a lot better than last year. Kenny Pickett, with limited attempts, looks to be a lot better in his second year. Special teams looks good, getting good returns there, which sets up the offense. And defensively speaking, yesterday we pretty much we literally shut out Atlanta 24-0. And nothing really bad happened yesterday, to be honest with you. I watched the first half and we just kind of ran the ball and just only threw what we had to, but Atlanta didn't even play really any of the starters, so take that for what it is. As Tony says, preseason ain't anything, but it does mean something for a lot of the young guys, like we mentioned. They got to get game exposure, because practice and training camp's one thing, but in the game, it's actually real. So,
100%. With Pickett though, you mentioned I've been seeing you on Twitter a little bit. You're starting to eat your words in your own words. about Kenny Pickett. Can you elaborate on that? Do you kind of see him coming into his own a little bit?
Yeah, when they first drafted him, I said at best he'd be a top 15 quarterback and 15 at best. I'm putting that up to 12 now. I think this year what I'm seeing out of him is he's way more composed. And in the offense, he looks way more comfortable. He looks so poised, and he's able to just like we watched the Tampa game, how he kind of navigated the pocket, made just a couple of nice plays, even though they weren't completions, but still avoided the rush, stepped up. But as far as the eye test goes in preseason, for me, he's passed it. I mean, literally every drive we've had in offense has been a touchdown, so I can't really knock him. I mean, the throws have been on point. I mean, he made a 30-yard completion yesterday, then a 20-yarder to Pickens, and we'll see. I'm ready for week 1. I'm ready to see if what I'm seeing is just false reality or if it's actually substance. I don't know. That's where I'm at with this, but he's making me eat my words, but we'll see, though. Preseason don't mean shit. It don't mean shit. Literally. We've seen, just for example, we've seen Cleveland and Detroit go 4-0 in the preseason and then go 0-16. So
100%.
That's where I'm at with that.
100%. Well, that was a good little preseason recap. Why don't we get into some fantasy football now? With drafts should be starting. NFL football is 2 weeks away, so drafts should really be
less than 2 weeks. Yeah,
kicking up or really getting underway. So let's get into some fantasy football talk, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, well, I'll start with that. While Kurt was watching his Pittsburgh Steelers play, I was doing a fantasy football draft. I run a 10-man work league, and I ended up with pick number 5 in this year's draft. So,
right in the middle. That's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I like the middle. I usually like around my sweet spot's been around 3 to 4. And so I went back a little bit, 1 to 5. Those higher round selections were chosen when I got to pick. So with that, I went with 5 this year. And with my first overall, nothing really happened in the first round, surprisingly. Eckler goes 4, and then I believe it was Jefferson, McCaffrey, and Chase. So that kind of left me with Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, or who I ended up going with, and I don't dislike this pick one bit. It's tight end Travis Kelce at pick number 5. I think that tight end is one of the most unsure positions that you can end up with in a fantasy football team, and when you have a good one, it really can win you some games that you shouldn't have won. So that's why I love Kelce at 5. Shows up my tight end position. He's a
Elite.
receiver 1.
Not good.
And
elite.
Elite, yes, absolutely. Absolutely elite. Yes. Love that. Him and Mahomes are just going to keep turning it up, and I'm glad that I can watch that and cheer for Kelce now some more. So that was my first pick. Derrick Henry slides down into the middle of the second round, and that is where I ended his slide. I think Derrick Henry should have still been probably a first-round pick, maybe back into the first round. So for him to slide to me in the middle of the second, I wanted a running back 1 with this selection, and that's exactly where we went with Derrick Henry.
It's a win.
Absolutely.
That's good
Next,
value.
We went with receiver 1 was Deebo Samuel. So I still think, great tight end 1, great running back 1, and then Deebo Samuel, I'm not mad at him. I think Brandon Ayuk kind of steals some of his targets more than I like sometimes, and George Kittle as well. But with that quarterback competition going on in San Fran, somebody's going to have to catch the ball out wide, and I hope it's Deebo Samuel, and that's why I drafted him
too.
In the third round. Going through some of this some more, I'll just go through the rest of my team. We ended up with Ramondre Stevenson, running back number 2. We end up with Tyler Lockett sitting in at my receiver number 2 right now. In the 6th round, I took Justin Herbert. Last year, I kind of waited a little bit too long and ended up with Mac Jones in the back end of my draft, and that was just a mistake. So moved up a little bit, moved up into the 5th or the 6th round, and I selected Justin Herbert, who I suspect will have a pretty decent year and should have a good year in fantasy. I like him.
Definitely.
I like him for sure. So Herbert's the quarterback. Samuel and Lockett are the receivers right now. Henry and Stevenson, and then Kelsey at tight end. My flex is Christian Kirk. That's who I have it as right now. And then we'll go down the bench. Bench running backs are Rashad White and Javonte Williams for Denver. My bench receivers are Cortland Sutton and Michael Gallup. A second tight end is Cole Kmet for the Bears. And one of my last picks in this draft, I actually took Jalen Warren, the Pittsburgh Steelers second-string running back. I think he looked really good in the preseason. Barring a Najee injury, I think he could really get and do well with the snaps that he could end up with. And, well, he's just a bench guy to kind of hide from everybody else.
He'll get his touches.
Right.
He will get his touches.
We take McPherson at kicker, the Cincinnati kicker, and then we take Pittsburgh's defense. I took a defense, I think it was around the 7th or 8th, and it was really just, I like being at 5th because you can follow the trends. If kicker goes off the board, you can take one. If running back starts going, just things like that. You can kind of follow the trends, and you don't end up in one of those top selections, and you kind of miss out at some point. 100%. Okay. Yeah, well, we got McPherson, Steelers defense, obviously like that. And that's the team. Projected 127 points right now with this lineup. And I'm supposed to win week 1. So we'll see. Kurt, anything new with fantasy-wise from you?
In a lot of leagues. In a lot of leagues. Tony's league, a Yahoo league, our league. Been doing a lot of drafts. Been seeing a lot of crazy shit. I thought the past draft I just did with Tony went pretty good to BH. I saw nothing but mistakes, and so I capitalized on them, and we snatched up Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce. So I feel really good. I'm expecting to go win this thing. So that's what I do. We're in it to win it. We play to win. And we got our own draft here coming up, 12-man, UB, the whole crew, next Thursday. So looking forward to that. Can't wait.
100%. We'll have to do a whole podcast talking about that. 12-man league, a whole bunch of our
First
friends.
12-man.
Me and Kurt will be going
12-man.
against each other. So we'll have to debate our teams a little bit after the draft, and then let you guys pick. Let you guys pick who you think had the better draft.
And we already know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be me. I know, but it's okay.
Just enough why every time he drafts, he asks me if he should do this or not. Should I get this guy? Should I get that guy? What about this?
Phone a friend aren't not allowed, but
sometimes you need a second opinion. Sometimes you need a second opinion, yeah.
Sometimes you need it, but don't worry though. Don't worry. For this 12-man though.
All right. I mean, every man for himself.
You already know.
But yeah. What else? What you think? Let everybody know. They didn't see. Sean. Big Sean over here.
Oh, we got to talk about that. Here we go. All right, Kurt. I'm putting you on the spot. What's up?
Yep.
What's up with it? What's up? The show, baby.
I was wrong.
Come on, man. I was trying to tell you the length. He overextended like we thought he would. And Sean, perfect.
We got it.
Perfect striking. Perfect strikes. And Kurt, we gotta hear something on this one, man.
We gotta dissect this. All right, let's dissect this. So, first round was a lot of feeling out. I really didn't think there was a lot of activity. I don't know how you remember it, but I remember they were really just filling each other out, kind of trying to get each other's rhythm. A lot of kicking that first round. And then I think Joe Rogan and Cormier were talking about that Sterling might have won the first round with some clinch work at the end. Maybe, but honestly, it was just a lot of feeling out. Just Sterling was chasing him. I wasn't. If he tried like 2 takedowns, didn't work for him. Sean honestly played that very well. And second round, Sterling, more kicks. Here, let's keep kicking the guy with longer reach than me. And Sean honestly looked very comfortable. Like, he looked like, before that fight, he looked like he already knew he was going to win. And I just feel like Sterling looked like he was quaking. And honestly, as I told you the day after, I didn't really understand Sterling's strategy. I didn't understand the kicking. I thought he was going to, dirty box a little bit, trying to get on the inside and not stay on the outside and keep kicking with a guy who has better stand-up than you. And that played right into Sean's car, and he landed that perfect right as Sterling was coming in. And I was dead wrong.
Absolutely. I think that my biggest thing was Sterling tried to close the distance and really use his wrestling. And like you mentioned, O'Malley would just perfectly defended it. So much so that I think Sterling even said, I can't go back to this. I won't get anywhere here. I have to try something different because it's not going to work. I think that Sean O'Malley was utterly calm. Like you said, he just kind of had an aura around him that he thought he was going to win. You see him in the pre-fight, winning, and post-fight. He is calm, he's collected, and he really just acted like a true champion. And with those kind of antics that he's done that some people don't like, I was kind of curious to see how he would react. But he really reacted like a true champion. And like you said, he really just acted like he knew that he was going to get the job done. Very confident. Did you look at any other fight or just really that one?
It's kind of crazy because I was actually sleeping, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was kind of just tracking the live results, and I was like, oh shit, it's about to be the fight. It's like 1 a.m. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it, and then go back to sleep for work. And so I watched that, and I was just kind of surprised. But I feel like Sterling's strategy was more for like a long-term strategy, like trying to kick. It seemed like he was trying to kick O'Shawn to wear him out so that way he couldn't be as agile and then be able to slowly just drain his energy down and make it a 5-round battle. But Sean, like we said he needed to end this fight early, and he did. But I feel like you can't just go to a plan B that quick, especially when grappling's your game. Like, you can't just he only shot twice. Maybe three times. Well, I know it was twice, that first round, but I don't know. But I heard after the fight that Sterling said he's going to go up and weight to 155, so I guess that probably gets rid of that rematch then. As far as the next move.
He said that, but then he also said 2024 he wanted the rematch. So I don't know.
Maybe he just needs a weight break because that dude looked big. He was not 130. He definitely had a size, like not a height advantage per se, but like he definitely looked bigger than Sean.
Weight advantage. He was definitely bigger. Sean O'Malley said it.
I'm saying, like,
he said that the cut was bad for O'Malley, or the cut was bad for Sterling. O'Malley said it himself.
Yes.
How much bigger he was than everybody else in the division. And so continuing to try to make that weight for Sterling is definitely interesting, but he was a champion forever, and now he finally has a sour taste in his mouth and somebody to go beat or to go train for. So I think I would like to see a matchup like a Sandhagen matchup. Like I saw a UFC page I follow will do like some matchups after the card, and one of the matchups I saw was O'Malley and Sandhagen, and then Tito Vera and Peter Yan. So those matchups could be interesting in that division. I will also, Ian Gary absolutely mopped Neil Magny. Mopped him. Not even close. I like Ian Gary a lot. Really good fight.
So who we got for tomorrow's main event?
Tomorrow's main event, Max Holloway, Korean Zombie from Singapore, live from the USA at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And, there's rumors and rumbling that this may be Korean Zombie's last fight. And Max Holloway is just got a chin like no tomorrow. I think it's an all-out war, probably turned into a bloodbath. But I think I'll pick Max Holloway. Who are you going with?
I think Holloway's going to get the win. I like him to finish him.
100%. I think Korean Zombie's good, but I think Max Holloway's got a little bit left in the tank. And I think Korean Zombie's just kind of riding out the last of his career. They're having another card in Singapore for the first time in 10 years. And with the timing how it is, you can't really blame the UFC because this viewership is going to be one of the worst from America in a really long time. Having it be this early, so yeah, 100%. Mine's about to get to, and I think that will do it. A good 47 minutes. Starts us off virtually. Expect us on here, Riverside. Going to be continuing the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast with virtual. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 85. Check out our latest episode. Check out the collab episodes that
85.
are up with the Circle Up podcast. And, yeah, I think that'll do it. Kurt, you got anything else you want to add before we close it out? Laptops are dying, and I think that will do it. So, Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 85 is in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.